Alright, hello my beautiful people. Welcome back to another yoga session with me, Yogi Parks. Today's practice is going to be a restorative practice. We're going to try to keep it about 15 minutes. On that note, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to set the timer. I came up with this pretty quickly, that's why I have my notebook here to make sure I hit it all, that's why that's there. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, timer on the clock. So go ahead, we're going to get into child's pose. I don't have any props with me, but if you want to add some props, and you know the props to use for each of these poses, I go ahead and invite you to grab those props. But let's go ahead and meet in child's pose. And we'll take just a few breaths here. And I'm going to invite you guys to take whatever child's pose you want to take, whatever your body is calling for. We're going to stay here for a good minute or so. So once you get into this child's pose, like whatever variation you're taking, go ahead and bring your body to as much stillness as possible. I invite you to close your eyes and just breathe. We'll start off the practice with just a nice even inhale and exhale, and as we move deeper into it, as we go further into the practice, we'll start to elongate on that breath. So let's go ahead and take still about a half a minute or so more in this child's pose. Let your head just rest heavy on your mat. I'll zip my lips for a moment. Let us just enjoy this. From this child's pose, I invite you to go ahead and lift your forehead. We're going to come into downward facing dog. So do make sure that your fingertips are spread wide, hands are shoulder width apart. Bring your knees and hip width apart. And then, just fix my hat. Then we're going to tuck our toes, press up and back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. If my hat falls off, I'm just going to ignore it and deal with it. I think it's about to fall off. But let's go ahead, pedal out the feet, nod the head yes and no. Do whatever feels good in this downward facing dog. This doesn't seem necessarily like a restorative pose, but truly downward facing dog actually is a resting posture. And I want just to give us a moment where we really put a little extra emphasis on just creating space between each vertebrae, like elongating the spine, creating space between the vertebrae, just getting a nice lengthening for this restorative practice. But I promise we'll come into some good stillness. From this downward facing dog, we won't stay here long since it is still pretty active. Let's come into a forward fold. Again, just kind of like an abnormal posture to maybe take for a restorative practice. But again, I just wanted to get some nice lengthening in our spines to start off with, and then we'll get a little bit more stuck on the mat. Go ahead and wrap take whatever Uttanasana forward fold you'd like. I'm going to wrap my arms around the back of my calves. You're more than welcome to join me with that. If you want to use your peace fingers and wrap your peace fingers around your big toes, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Or if you want to slide your feet underneath, slide your hands, like you'll slide your hands palms facing up underneath the bottoms of your feet. That's also a really nice, juicy way to take Uttanasana. Bend your elbows, fold in nice and deep. And let's just hold here. This is another posture we're going to hold for another full minute. The reason why I think these postures, the downward facing dog and uttanasana that we're adding to this practice, the reason why I think this is just nice, and we're always sitting so often, standing so often, sitting so often, and it's just nice to go upside down in a really supported way. Get a nice stretch, your spine loves it. Let's take about just like 30 more seconds. If you want to switch up your position, go ahead and do so. I'm going to bring the arms, I'm going to bring my arms again back around the back of my calves for this half a minute. If you want to nod the head yes and no as well, just to get a little bit of rotation in the neck, some global rotation in the neck. Letting the neck just hang heavy. It's also so good for the neck. Well, really quickly, inhale, come halfway up, tabletop, just feels good, heart forward, tailbone back. And then exhale, back into our fold, and we'll come back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's stay here in this downward facing dog just for a moment as we slowly come down onto the mat. Take some nice breaths. Let's go ahead, we're going to drop down to our knees. We're going to take a modified plank. A little bit easier than knees, chest, chin to come and lay down on our stomachs. I'm going to put my hat on so it's a little bit nippy. So you're going to see me crawl like an animal on the ground for a second. Also, my hair is truly a mess today. I need to wash my hair, so trying to stay handsome for you guys. Alright, now, so meet me in this modified plank. So hands at the top of the mat, fingertips shoulder width apart, and you're going to bring your knees hip width apart. Yeah, bring your knees hip width apart slightly behind your hips. Your feet will be hip width apart as well. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, keeping the tailbone up and engaging your core, we're going to slowly lower down onto our stomachs. And we're going to lower down onto our stomachs to take Sphinx pose. A really good restorative back bend. So when you're ready, you're going to bring your hands forward. The hands are going to come shoulder width apart. You're going to spread your fingertips wide, press your fingertips into the mat, and you're going to press your forearms into the ground / mat, and your elbows should be pretty close. Really, elbows should be underneath the shoulders. I'm going to bring mine back. So your elbows should be underneath your shoulders. Get nice and comfortable, get your little wiggles and fidgets out. You can see that I've had some wiggles and fidgets with my feet as I'm just trying to get deeper in this posture. But let's hold here. Once you're comfortable with the arms, as you're pressing your forearms into the mat, make sure that you're lifting out of your shoulders. And the neck is nice and long. Keep your chin slightly tucked into your chest. Let the hips just be heavy. Let your legs relax. And we're just going to hold here. I mean, I'm slightly engaging my legs just to help support the back bend, and so it's not all just in my hands, shoulders, and elbows and arms. Again, this is kind of a little bit more of an active, restorative posture, but it's so good for the spine, so good for your upper back and your lower back as well. Kind of your lower back to have a nice release. Let's hold here for a few more breaths. Again, get your body nice and still. Close the eyes. And as we've gotten deeper into the practice, go ahead, let's try to make your exhalation twice as long as your inhale. Make your exhale twice as long as your inhale. We release more stress on our exhale, so that's why we're going to make that longer as we go deeper into this restorative journey in this class. Slowly, we're going to come back up onto the hands. We'll come out of this posture. And you'll go ahead and just bring your hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to come through Cobra Pose to Child's Pose. So you lift up onto your hands and knees. Take your knees to maybe a little less than mat width apart, toes touch. And on an exhale, we're going to come back again into Child's Pose. Taking a few breaths here. We've had some active restorative posture, so now we'll just relax. And if your arms aren't already relaxed, go ahead and relax your arms in this child's pose. Let your arms just rest heavy. And let's take about just 30 seconds here. Again, what I really want us to connect to in this child's pose is making that exhale twice as long as your inhale to release stress, release tension in the body, in the mind. And then we'll slowly come up onto the hands. Bring your weight over to the left, like shift your weight over to the left so you can bring your legs forward. And yeah, really quickly, so we're actually going to come to stand up on our knees. So from that cross-legged seated position, we're going to come to practice camel pose. So a little bit of a back bend here. And we're going to do a gentle camel pose. Or actually, yeah, we'll do a gentle camel pose. So make sure your feet are hip-width apart, your knees are hip-width apart, and then from here, we're going to bring our hands to the heart. We're already slightly in camel pose here. If you just engage your core, expand the chest, lift the sternum. But what we're going to do here, coming into Ustrasana, we're going to bring our hands to our lower backs and just engage the core. As the hips shift forward, let your chest slightly come up so you're getting this nice gentle back bend. And let's just breathe here. Nice, gentle little back bend here, just a re-expansion of the chest. And then inhale, let's come back up. Nice. And we're going to come back to sit back down on our heels. Again, we'll bring the legs forward. We're going to come for a nice wide-legged fold. A nice wide-legged fold. To kind of soon wrap up this practice. You know what? I'm going to face this way for the outfit that I'm wearing, because I'm a little afraid that things might, I'm just going to face this way. So for this wide-legged fold that we're going to do, we're going to go ahead, I'm going to come off the mat. I'm going to come off the mat right here. So for this wide-legged fold, go ahead and bring your legs out. Yeah, go ahead, bring your legs out. Good. Go ahead, bring your legs out. And then when you're ready, once you've got the legs in a nice open V, we're going to go ahead with the hands still shoulder width apart. On an exhale, come forward this way into a nice wide-legged fold. Once you're in the wide-legged fold, if you need a little bit of aid with your feet flexed, toes facing up, have a slight micro bend the knees. That'll help you if you're feeling like you need a little aid in your flexibility and your openness. It'll make it easier. And then, most importantly, is keeping the integrity of the spine, keeping a nice elongated spine as you exhale and slowly fold forward. Still with the hands, elbows, shoulder width apart. And let's go ahead and just breathe here. And before we close the eyes, I'm going to remind you again, for this last posture, I want you to elongate your exhale. Release some stress, release some tension with me as we go deeper in this forward fold. I'm a little more open, so I'm going to go ahead and take my legs straight. If you have that as well, I invite you to go ahead and do so as well. Maybe come down a little bit deeper. As we hold this posture, as you elongate that exhale, you'll also notice that your body relaxes more deeply or goes deeper into the posture on the exhale. So don't try to force it all going deeper in this posture. Let the breath take you there, specifically your exhale, going deeper into the pose. While in this fold, also focusing on keeping your heart forward, your tailbone rooted into the mat as you elongate your spine. That's our timer, so I'm going to go ahead and slowly travel back up onto the hands with my fingertips. I'm going to slowly bring the legs back in. And we're going to close out this practice after I get this timer. All right. That was relaxing for me as well and deep, so I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Let's go ahead and bring our hands to a prayer position of the heart. We'll close out this practice with Namaste. The light within me honors the light within y'all. And I look forward to seeing you all for another practice.